And here starts the first adventure of 2023. This is the first trip of 7 so far that we have booked for this season. Up in the wheelhouse is Captain John. We are just now leaving Rock Harbor. There's the lighthouse. And of course, this is me. We are beginning the 3.5-hour journey to Royale. Okay, we're heading out of 3 Mile. It's Saturday morning. We're going to go up Mount Franklin to the Greenstone, over to the Ojibway Tower, and go down into Daisy Farm. This is what we would call our beginner level Daisy Farm loop. I'm going to stop right here for a minute. This is the dock at 3 Mile. Kind of a social gathering spot at all the campgrounds. More shelters. People are heading out. So, okay, we're just west of 3 Mile Campground. We're going to be coming up on a junction post for the Mount Franklin Trail. Okay. From that junction post, it's 4.2 miles if you stayed on the Rock Harbor Trail to Daisy Farm. We're going to go up the Mount Franklin Trail, which means we're going to have about 6.3 total to get to Daisy Farm. But this big rock faces is indicative of the Rock Harbor Trail for about another mile or so. Then you go through the woods and it's a lot of rocks and roots if you stay on the Rock Harbor Trail. So, but as you can see, my hiking companion is in front of me, and here comes the Mount Franklin Junction post. Now, about a half a mile north of here, we will come to the Tobin Harbor Junction post. There's a standing argument. People constantly say that the Tobin Harbor Trail is easier. But if you're coming to 3 Mile, I will take the Rock Harbor Trail every time, because the Mount Franklin Trail adds 3/4 of a mile. If you're going to Daisy Farm, it adds a half a mile. I don't find scampering over the rocks, as Beth says, to be troublesome for me. But to each their own. I will never tell somebody that my way is the only way or the better way. I had some clients last year that took both, and they said the same thing. They would rather climb over the rocks than stumble on the rocks and roots on the Tobin Harbor Trail. Now that's looking back towards 3 Mile. And we're heading up Mount Franklin. We're going to take this all the way up to the Greenstone. This is going to be my first time getting out here since the Mount Franklin fire. I was here with clients. We got here on the 13th. We got our permit and we're almost to 3 Mile Campground when Ranger Cat caught us and told us we were walking into a wildfire. So I came back after that, but it was a Manong crossing, so I wasn't anywhere on this end, so I didn't get a chance to go up through the burn zone. So I'm gonna go. Okay. I just realized we don't have any videos of this trail, so I'm still in the section between the Rock Harbor Trail and the Tobin Harbor Trail. But it's typical Isle Royale. But this will be a good video for anyone who's thinking about taking our beginner level Daisy Farm loop. By going up on the Greenstone, we give everyone the opportunity to see and experience the ridge for a few miles. We were talking to some people last night that were on the boat with us and came to 3 Mile. And it was their first time, and they had no idea of the grueling nature, as they said, of the trails on Isle Royale. So, this is day 2 of journey 1. So both Beth and I are still trying to get our packs adjusted right, get our trail legs. Matter of fact, next week I will be here again with a client doing a Greenstone Ridge crossing. Be on the island for 10 days. So, figured I'd give you a little sample of the Mount Franklin Trail. And here's a perfect example of a slimy looking water source that I'd have to have broken legs and be half dead before I would attempt to try to filter water from here. As you can see, Isle Royale's full of ups and downs. Elevations may not be the type of the mountains, the AT or Colorado, but it's a continuous up and down, and that's what taxes most people. I've had a lot of questions lately of people like, well, what is your beginner level like? I want to try, but I don't want to die. So we decided to come here, do the loop, and take videos. People can look at pictures all day long, but if they hear me go climbing up and down and they actually see the trail, they get a better idea. Hopefully they'll say, oh yeah, we can do that. I want to do that. So, there it is. And over the years, Beth and I have met so many people that have come unprepared. That's the whole reason during the shutdown why we developed the courses. Just trying to help people. Thank you, trail crew. I love these long boardwalks over the mucky nastiness. Those young men and women, you run across them, sometimes they're carrying these planks a mile or two from where the pile is to build these things. It's a nice day. Bugs were a little thick this morning, but put on bug dope. They seem to be leaving me alone. When I first got out, I was refilling some water. And my God, mosquitoes were atrocious. They thought I was very delicious. Okay, here's a Tobin Harbor Mount Franklin Trail junction post. If we were to take a right turn here, that would lead us back to Rock Harbor. We are going up to Mount Franklin. So we have 1.8 miles to Mount Franklin. So, okay, we're getting ready to cross over this little bridge, which is the mouth or head of Tobin Harbor, I guess. How you say it, I don't know. I'm not a nautical guy, but a lot of times there's moose up in here. That way is Tobin Harbor. That way is wherever this water comes from. It's not moving very well. Then again, one of these beautiful testaments to the hard work of the trail crew. The other side here, we are going to start ascending the rock face to the greenstone. And we should actually, from what I understood from last year, we should be getting real close to entering the burn zone. So, we shall see. Yeah, here's the signs of the burn. I'll get a turn here. This stuff was burning here on this ridge. All because some selfish individuals thought it was okay to light a campfire where campfires are not allowed. The horn fire was started by a lightning strike. This one was started by an illegal campfire at an illegal campsite. Unreal. I don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but the fire just had to be raging up in here. Unreal. All because somebody thought they were too good to follow the simple rule of no fires except for in designated areas with metal fire rings. I just don't understand it. It's not a hard rule to follow. I've been out here, actually this trip is 40 years since the first time I set foot on this island. Fell in love with it immediately. I don't know if the camera's picking up, that's Tobin Harbor down there. I've never found it hard to follow the rules on this place. I've seen people with illegal fires in Hatchet and other places, but I never understood it. You do not need a campfire to enjoy camping on Isle Royale. And this is the result of it. This is why the rangers and the law enforcement rangers go ballistic when they catch someone having an illegal fire. I never understand it. Okay. Well, we're coming to something that's not a real rare sight up here on the ridge, where obviously we're ascending to the top of the greenstone. But here's a beaver pond. Came across some fresh chews, but you know, besides that, here's more evidence of the extraordinary work the trail crew does. But we're about halfway up from the Tobin Harbor level to the top of the greenstone. We're actually getting very close to the top. Here's a plank pile. I believe it was 2016 when they got special permission to airlift piles of planks and logs all through here. The piles are dwindling now, but I believe it was 2016 when we were here. They were actually doing that operation. I might be able to. My camera's running. What?
You could duck sitting right there. You just walk toward it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Jab it in its ear as soon as
The beaver dam must have had a rupture because it is way down.
Maybe something's eating the resident beaver.
Maybe. But you can see it's very little water and lots of mud, which is kind of weird. Beth was just saying maybe something took out maybe a wolf or something got the resident beaver. But we've also haven't had very much rain. In the UP, western UP where we live, the fire danger's been extreme for a long time now. So it could be that the water level's down because of the lack of rain. But either the dam ruptured and the beaver isn't here to fix it, or something took out the beaver and it just hasn't been working on the dam. We're getting real close to the Lane Cove, Mount Franklin, Greenstone junction mark. Whew. As you can see, Beth is behind me. Beth and I got going at 8 o'clock by the time we actually put our packs on and walked out of our campsite. One more climb. One more climb. You can see it. For those of you who haven't been here yet, this is typical. No matter which trail you use to climb to Greenstone Ridge. Oh.
Louise. You can go back down to Mount Franklin. You can go over to Lane Cove, or you can go our way. We're going to Mount Ojibway and Mount Franklin. Mount Franklin's just a little way.
We're headed that way.
I didn't know you were recording.
This is one of the things that I really enjoy about the Greenstone is you get to these ridges and sometimes the views are breathtaking. This is actually what they call Mount Franklin. I'm going to come over here and go up on here a little bit. This is Mount Franklin. Quite the view. Now if you were to take out your cell phone and you had Canada's cell service in your plan, you could get cell signal here. If you do not have Canada's cell service in your plan, you better have a big pocketbook and get ready for some roaming charges. A friend of ours made some phone calls from up on the ridge. Over $500 roaming charge to just call his wife and tell her he was okay. We are on the Greenstone. I'd say we're probably half a mile, maybe a little more, west of the Mount Franklin lookout. We're coming back up on an open ridge again, so I thought I'd turn it on. Typical Greenstone is kind of like the whoop-de-doo hills on a roller coaster. It's up and down, up and down. Once you get on the ridge, I mean, they're still up and down, but it's not like climbing up on the ridge. But we're coming up to an open ridge here with a view to the south. Mount Franklin was a view to the north. This is a view to the south. And if you look over here, but that's the radio tower and water tower at Mott Island. So, of course, Beth's in front of me. Nice and breezy on the hill, on the ridge. Breezy helps keep the bugs down. It's nice and cool. Mosquitoes have been thick in the bogs, swamps, and beaver ponds. We use Repel 30% deep baby wipes for our skin and 100% deep pump bottle for our clothes. Seems to be working. I haven't had to resort to the bug net at all. Now we're going to go back down into one of the little valleys. And this is pretty much how the Greenstone is all across this side. I'll leave the camera run for a little while. Our next stop, or the next thing we're looking for, is the Ojibway Fire Tower. There's a junction post under it for the Ojibway Trail down into Daisy Farm. We will be taking that. You can hear the thick underbrush rubbing against my pack and me. I don't know that it rained last night. On the dockside orientation, they were talking about, I think she said it was a 70% chance of rain overnight. But I didn't, if it rained after we were sleeping, because I didn't hear any rain. Right, Beth just said she didn't notice any kind of evidence of rain last night. From what we've seen, looks like the island's already in another drought. Beaver ponds are all way down, lots of mud exposed. pretty thick and overgrown for the beginning of June already. I'm guessing it's 80, at least 75 to 80 up here on the ridge. Appears like we might be coming out on another ridge, although this one doesn't appear to have as much of a good view. One of these times we're going to crest over one of these and we're going to see the fire tower sticking up. Well, this is the Greenstone Ridge. Here's another one. Let me get up past Beth here. This is actually the channel that the Ranger 3 would come in. So Daisy Farm is right down over there. So I don't see it. But we're not very far from the tower. The tower, we're going to see the tower up at the top of that next ridge. But those are the islands in the channel. And I'll point them out when I'm down on the dock. We are real close to the tower. I'm betting we're going to be almost on top of the tower when we get to the next ridge top. Right over there. But this would be the hike that we do in our beginner level Daisy Farm loops. We were at 3 Mile last night. We came up on the ridge and we'll be down in Daisy Farm tonight. We're probably less than 3 miles from out of the campground. When we get to the tower, it's 1.7 miles down into Daisy Farm campground. Been a few seasons. I think the last time I hiked this was in 2021. This particular section of the Greenstone. Just crest it. No, one more valley to go. I just caught a glimpse of the top of the fire tower through the trees. that is where we're going. We're probably half a mile from it yet. I hope the camera can pick it up, but that's where we're going. Probably a quarter mile at least, if not a little longer, from the tower. I have to wait and see whether the camera can see it or not when I get to where I can see the video. But we're at least a quarter mile away still. Okay. Like almost there. The tower's like right there. Through the trees. I know from shelter 1 and 3 mile, this is turning out to be a little over 5 3/4 miles. Not the 5 miles the map says. We still have 2 miles to go down into Daisy from here. So this is going to be closer to 8 miles than the 6.7. There's a lot of people at the tower, so I'm going to shut this off. Okay, we are leaving the tower. Nope. I'm going to turn around. There's the tower. We are heading down to Daisy Farm. This is the Mount Ojibway Trail. We actually go all the way down to a big beaver pond and a long boardwalk, and then we climb up over a smaller ridge to go down into Daisy. As you can see, Beth's leading the way. She's a fabulous guide. I said it was 5.8 miles from shelter 1 and 3 mile to the tower. So we're going to be close to 8.5 miles total versus the 6.7 the map says. So with our beginners, we will have to have some serious talk in 3 mile before we attempt to come this route. It would actually be easier to go the 4.4 miles to Daisy and get camp set up and just take the 4 mile round trip up and down here with just carrying water for a day hike. But we'll have to see. We'll see what happens. There's coming on to another beaver pond. A few years back, Beth and I were crossing, and there was a beaver putting on a show, chewing the bark off of sticks like he was eating a corn on the cob. But this one, again, this is way low. Way low. So this is confirming what we were just talking about. There is definitely another year of a drought on Royale, and I just dropped my pole. And it's only June. Basically, the snow just melted. These should be damn near overflowing. So, wait here for Beth. You can see the dam over here to my right. I'm not on it, Beth. The dam's over here to my right. I didn't come down this trail last season. You can actually see a break in the dam right there. We were down here 2019. So Yeah. The beaver must be gone, because there's no way a breach in the dam would be like that without the beaver here fixing it. But everywhere, last September when we were here, all the beaver dams were down. I don't see any fresh chews either, so I gotta wait for her to go across. She says it's moving. We got one more ridge to climb over before we start working our way down into Daisy Farm. She doesn't do good with heights. Sometimes I think she's better if the water level's right at the board. Okay, I can go now. As you can see, Beth's ahead of me again. We're down to the bottom of the last of the two. There's another long boardwalk. And give Beth some space. But you'll notice the tree line when I turn this corner. The tree line ahead of us. That is the final ridge that we have to climb up and over to get to Daisy Farm. I would not want to filter water here. I'd have to be really hurting to try to filter water from there.
Turn it off.
Yeah.
We could walk around on that beach over there.